Hello, I'm Brian Sylvester and welcome to T&M TV News. It's Chinalco to the rescue. The Chinese aluminum giant is putting almost $20 billion into Rio Tinto to help the mining giant pay down its debt and fend off potential takeover bids from less friendly rivals. Chinalco is spending more than $12 billion for large interests in a number of Rio's aluminum and iron ore operations, as well as significant stakes in copper mines like Escondida in Chile and Grasberg in Indonesia. Chinalco will buy another roughly $7 billion in bonds that can be converted into shares. The deal is expected to get shareholder approval. Minera Andes, meanwhile, is trying to avoid shareholder approval of a move that would sell almost 40% of the company to mining financier Robert McEwen. Minera Andes needs the cash injection to meet pressing financial needs, and other financial options do not exist. The proposal is now before the Toronto Stock Exchange. Meanwhile, the Ontario Superior Court issued an injunction stopping the hostile takeover bid by Resoro Mining for Gold Reserve. The court decided that Resoro had improper access to Gold Reserve's confidential information as a result of Resoro's relationship with Gold Reserve's financial advisor, Endeavour Financial. Endeavour is linked to mining mogul Frank Giustra. The court also told Resoro and Endeavour to return Gold Reserve's confidential information and any reports made using that information. In other news, a U.S. judge has ruled against a motion filed by the Western Shoshone tribe against Barrick Gold. The Shoshone wanted construction halted at the Cortez Hills gold mine in Nevada on the grounds that the proposed open-pit gold mine would desecrate the tribe's sacred Mount Tenabo. Senior staff writer Trish Saywell reports.
Barrick Gold has won a key battle in its effort to build a gold mine at Cortez Hills in Nevada. A U.S. judge has ruled against a preliminary injunction that would have halted construction of the mine. The motion was filed on the grounds that the proposed open-pit gold mine would desecrate Mount Tenabo, a sacred mountain, decrease the Western Shoshone people's spiritual fulfillment from practicing their religion at the mountain, and violate the Religious Freedom Act. The plaintiffs argued that the open pit would be on the south flank of the mountain, adjacent to the prayer site. District Judge Larry Hicks conceded that the disputed area, including White Cliffs, the peak areas over Mount Tenabo, Horse Canyon, and the pine forests within the Mill Canyon area were, quote, all recognized and are still recognized today as areas of religious and spiritual importance to the Western Shoshone people. But he said that mining would not affect the areas that have religious significance, and said Barrick would allow access to all of those areas for spiritual and religious practices. He concluded that there was not a substantial burden on the free exercise of religion. The judge also said the area had 145 years of mining history, and that he was, quote, awestruck by the monetary implications of the proposed mine. In a press release quoting testimony at the hearing, Barrick said delays at Cortez Hills would cost county and state government and the school district millions of dollars in tax revenue at a time when government budgets are already in deficit. The court has yet to have a full hearing on the lawsuit against the project on religious and environmental grounds. The Cortez Hills project is an expansion of Barrick's Cortez mine. When in full production, the average annual production from Cortez is expected to be about 950,000 to 1 million ounces of gold for the first 5 years. This is Trish Saywell for the Northern Miner.
And fines for safety violations at American mines soared to an all-time high in 2008. Northern Miner staff writer Kip Keene has more.
Fines for safety violations at American mines soared to an all-time high in 2008. Since former President George W. Bush signed a new mining code into law 3 years ago, which dramatically increased minimum and maximum fines, the value of penalties has more than quintupled to U.S. $194 million in 2008 from U.S. $35 million in 2006. The lofty penalties signal a change in strategy over how to enforce compliance with its rules at the U.S. Mine Safety and Health Administration, MSHA, the wing of government that regulates American mines. In the hopes of making mines safer, MSHA has started hitting companies where it hurts most, their bank accounts. By doing so, the Acting Assistant Secretary of Labor for Mine Safety, Richard Stickler, says mining companies will realize it's cheaper to comply with the rules than to pay the fines. But critics argue that MSHA's strategy may end up having the opposite effect. Mark Savit, a partner in the law firm Patton, Boggs, and a former MSHA inspector himself, believes the regulator's approach may lead to mines that are in fact less safe. He says increasing penalties are forcing mining companies to take away resources from safety and to put them into compliance instead. Stickler admits the evidence for improved safety is slim so far, but he says it's still too early to tell what kind of an effect they will have. death. And neither does it appear that the new rules are making mines more dangerous. Over the past decade, the number of deaths in U.S. mines has fluctuated without trend between about 50 and 70 a year. One thing is for sure, more and more fines are being contested in court and eating up resources of both MSHA and U.S. mining companies. Under Stickler's watch, the percentage of contested fines tripled to about 23% in 2008 from 7% in 2006. I'm Kip Keane reporting for the Northern Miner in Vancouver.
Thanks, Kip. Look for the list of the world's best 25 gold miners in the next issue of Mining Markets magazine, available at the PDAC convention. That's all for this week, and thank you for tuning in.